All right, welcome back, Mather Park, Case Western Reserve University. We are ready for Game 2 here in the doubleheader Saturday afternoon, and the first pitch is a strike, and it's hit to straightaway center by Paige Nellis, and Nellis is going to slide into second base for a first pitch, first inning double to start it off for Emory and to start it off in style. So Nellis, in the first 2 games of this series, has hit out of the number 2 hole for Coach India Childs, and she has been put into the leadoff spot and right away paying dividends.
Yeah, that's a big hit for Emory. Again, the 2 games that we've seen so far in this series, they haven't been successful at all on the offensive end. Facing a new pitcher, first pitch to go right at her, and Nellis, one of the only players that's had a hit for Emory so far in this series. It's a perfect way for them to start. So
this is Chu at the plate now. Ashley Chu is the typical leadoff hitter for this Emory Eagles offense. Her and Nellis just flip spots in Coach Childs' batting order. Kylie Hosey is on the mound for Case Western Reserve starting in Game 2. Hosey having a great season. Kylie comes into this game in 8 starts with 8 wins, no losses. And there's a little flare to Barry and trying to double up at second base. Nellis got back just in time. They're not going to call it a catch. It looked like a catch. They're not going to call it a catch. So if it's not a caught ball, if they say it hit the ground, then the Eagles are going to have runners at first and second.
Yeah, and I don't think Barry, I think she thought she caught it.
Yeah, obviously, because she went to second base to double up Nellis.
That's right. And she looked, I mean, her and Potts were looking around after that play, pointing at Chu on first base saying, wait, why is she not out? So I think they're as confused as Coach Henry looked like.
So the batter's out. So they've conferred it, and the batter is out.
Yeah, I think the home plate umpire looked like he signaled no catch initially. So they get together, talk about it, and at least from the look that we have and that you guys have at home, all the viewers do, it certainly looked like a catch.
Now batting, number 18, Ellie Czar.
So the runner remains at second. Ellie Zaire is now at the plate, and Ellie has been a force to be reckoned with. Ellie has 2 home runs in 2 games, and she has really been the only offense as far as run production. Ground ball to Barry, looks back the runner, throws across the field, and the second out of the inning.
Yeah, good eyes from Barry, checking the runner at second, make sure that she's not going to go and try and get all the way to third, and then knowing that you have enough time to still make that throw to first. It's a great defensive play.
And one thing is clear to me in the offensive approach right now, at least in this first inning by Emory. They are looking to hit early in the count against Kylie Hosey. They don't want to see Hosey's changeup, so they're going to hit a fastball early in the account. And every hitter in this inning swung at a first pitch, and that's going to fall in for a base hit, and it will score the run. So Hoyle just gets a little bit of the bat on the ball, and with 2 outs, Nellis was off and running on the hit, and she scores from second base.
Yeah, and Ron, you're exactly right. That's another example of it, swinging at these early pitches in the count, and that one popped right in between second and center field, and it was a perfectly placed ball for the run.
So Hoyle with the 2-out hit, and that brings Grace Cooper, the shortstop, to the plate. Hosey pitches away from the plate on that first pitch, and Cooper watches it for ball 1. Kylie on the ear, 2.23 earned run average. I was talking to her dad in between games, and I said, Kylie's having a great year. She's 8-0, and second offering, line drive, back up the middle. Potts will catch it, step on second to complete the inning. That's the 3rd out. We'll talk more about Hosey in the next inning. We'll head to the bottom of the first. Emory with 1 run in the top half. The Spartans coming to bat. Kella Jagoda in her typical leadoff spot for Case Western Reserve as we head into the bottom half of the first inning. Jagoda in game one today, 2 of 4 from the plate. She scored a run. Cohen on the mound for Emory. And Cohen is familiar, at least in the first 2 games, to this Spartan offense because Isabel pitched in relief in both of Emory's losses. Cohen, the left-hander, looking into her dugout to get the pitch call. No balls, 1 strike, and here comes her second offering to Jagoda. And that's ball 1. Kella in the series so far, 3 of 7 with 3 runs scored.
Ron, I talked to her in between the 2 games. You know, the Spartans had so many hits in that first game, but were unable to score. There's an example.
There's another base hit. And Jagoda, with speed, out of the box, slides in for a double. So that's going to be a single, I'm guessing, with the mishandle from the right fielder that gets Jagoda to second. But Kella recognizing that does a great job getting out of the box early.
Yeah, both these teams are going to be out swinging. They want to score, especially after a game in which runs came at a premium. I know the Spartans scored 5, but they were 5 hard-earned runs.
So this is Potts at the plate with a runner at second. Nobody out. Spartans down 1-0. Emory scored first. Emory has scored first. Well, I was going to say in every game of the series, but that's not true. The first game today, the Spartans had 2 in the first inning. But on Friday night, they led 2-0. Emory did after an inning. Tonight, this afternoon, it's 1-0.
Yeah, and when we see Emory back on the offensive side of things, they're going to want to stay on the gas pedal, which in turn makes this Spartan team even more desperate to want to score on their end.
Counts 2-0 on Karen Potts. Potts is 3 of 8 in the 2-game series so far against Emory. Swinging on a 2-0 count, and it's strike 1.
She was 3 for 4 earlier today, and she's going to continue to keep swinging, especially with a runner in scoring position. She's going to try and get an extra base hit here if she can send one into the outfield.
2 balls, 1 strike, nobody out. Cone misses low for ball 3.
And these pitches have been very tight on Potts, not giving her a chance to get a good ball to send deep.
Potts, the first-year shortstop. Also the Ninja Warrior star. And that's ball 4. Potts on base for the 4th time today. And for the season, in over 80 at-bats, that was only the 5th walk that Karen has taken. She's going up there looking to hit. This is Kai Gross at the plate. Gross swinging first pitch, fly ball, left field line, shallow, and it falls in for a base hit. Holding and scoring, or actually getting to third, was Jagoda. Jagoda had to kind of stay tight to the bag, not knowing if Emory's left fielder would get to it.
Yeah, and Chua was running up to try and get to that ball, and it fell shorter than she expected, and I think shorter than Jagoda expected too, because Jagoda was really scrambling to get to third base after that ball fell. You know, this is the situation. Like I said, I talked to Kella in between the 2 games, and she said they needed timely hits as a team because they left 11 on base over the course of that first game today as well. And this is something that they want to avoid here in game 2. So Stevie Rieger with no outs, and they'll go deeper into the lineup. They can get some of these early runs to score, especially with bases loaded. We saw the Eagles get out of a bases loaded jam in the earlier game as well.
Bases full of Spartans. First pitch to Rieger is outside for ball 1. 2 hits and a walk in this inning for the Spartans. And Cohen facing trouble with nobody out. Rieger, that's smoked. Left center field. It will score 2, maybe 3. Rounding third and coming home is Kai Gross, and Gross is going to come all the way to the plate, throw it third, and Rieger is out. Rieger going from second to third on the throw to the plate, and Stevie gets caught at third for the first out of the inning. And if you're going to make the first out of the inning, it's not at third base. But the good news with the double, she knocked in 3 runs, cleared the bases, Stevie Rieger.
Yeah, and basically turns into a full reset for the Spartans now, just with 1 out. Allows them to get back into their offense, and they can do whatever they want here if they feel like they've got this pitcher Cohen on her heels.
So Bisberry's at the plate.
Now that last play, that's exactly what the Spartans needed too. In the earlier game, they were struggling to score. Lexi Bach was doing a nice job when they got runners on the bases to just make life tough for whoever was up to bat. Now for the Spartans, for Stevie Rieger, that gives this entire offense confidence once again that they seem to not have as much of in the first game.
Line drive. Natalie Taylor almost stabbed it. It would have been a great play down that left field line, but in for a double is Biz Berry. Berry with a line drive down the left field line.
Now batting, number 25,
Elena Steffes steps to the plate. Steffes has had a good afternoon. Elena in the first game, 3 hits in 3 at-bats. Knocked in a run, has an opportunity to knock in another. Steffes the DP in this game, as she was in game 1. Pitch on the outside corner, called for a strike. Elena on Friday afternoon was 1 for 3, 3 for 3 this morning, so she is 4 for 6 in the 2-game series.
Yeah, and she's improved her batting average up to over 400 now after this morning's game.
Fly ball. Won't leave the infield. Second baseman will fall under it. And playing second base in this game is Ashley Chu. Chu's at second. Typically in left field, Natalie Swift, who's starting in this game, is in left. She almost made the great catch of that stabbing line drive. So 2 outs in the inning. Bella Russo at the plate. Cohen on the mound. Here comes the first offering to the junior first baseman. That is Biz Berry out at second base. Berry followed Rieger's double that scored 3 with a double of her own. Boy, the outside strikes in this entire series. So back to a point I think I was trying to make in game 1. As long as you're consistent with what you're calling, and for argument's sake, the umpires in this series have been consistent in the outside strikes. So it's up to the hitters to adjust to that. We could sit and argue that that ball's in the opposite batter's box, but it has been that way, Sar, the entire 3-game series. So you just have to adjust to that if you're the hitter.
Yeah, and I think this, a couple pitches ago is a good example of it. What looks like, might be a ball for us. It's been a strike this morning. It was a strike yesterday, and it's clearly going to be a strike here in Game 2.
Counts 2-2. Ware with a nice throw, and Bisberry is out at third base. So what a great job Ware has done in this series behind the plate. And there's the latest example. That ends the inning. We head to the top of the second. Spartans get 3 in the bottom half of the first. They are up 3-1. Top of the second here from Mather Park. Kylie Hosey on the mound for the Case Western Reserve Spartans. Hosey on the year, 50 in the third innings coming into today. She's given up 47 hits. She has struck out 31 and walked 19, and she is a perfect 8-0 in the circle for the Spartans, and that's strike 1. Sonia Klein, the third baseman, at the plate right now for Emory. Change up, strike 2. So the approach in the first inning by Emory at the plate was clearly to not let Kylie Hosey get to that pitch that she just threw.
Yeah, and this Emory Eagle team is probably going to continue to attack early in the at-bats, as you mentioned in the first inning, Ron. And the other thing that they'll have to focus on, too, is because yesterday's game is a good example of it when they scored 2 in the top of the first and then were unable to score after that. With them getting on the board here again in the top of the first, they really need to stay on the gas pedal and keep pressure on the Spartans pitching and the Spartan offense.
Hosey off speed, gets her second strike on Klein. Sonia looking for her first hit of the day. She was 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts in Game 1 against Miskey. Miskey with the win in Game 1. It was a 5-1 final. Hosey with a strike on the 1-2 count, fouled back. Miskey with that win improves to 13-2 on the year. Hosey trying to go to 9-0. I'm not sure, Sar, that you could have a better 1-2 punch. I mean, technically you could if Miskey's 15-0, but and that's strike 3. Hosey fooled her up. That was not a changeup. That was the heater from Kylie Hosey and got Klein looking.
Yeah, these two pitchers for the Spartans are top-notch. I mean, you go Lexi Miskey and talked about all her accolades. Kylie Hosey was a second-team All-UAA selection last year, and I'm almost certain the only reason she wasn't first team is because she had to split games with Lexi Miskey.
Natalie Ware at the plate, and that's strike 1. Ware the catcher. She's done an outstanding job in this series behind the plate. Second pitch, outside for ball 1. The Medina Youth softball program, some of the younger girls are here today for the doubleheader as Hosey gives up a base hit over the outstretched glove of Bisberry. And Kylie Hosey grew up in the Medina Youth softball program. Her mom still coaches in it. Kylie herself in the summertime spends time helping her mother coach a 14U team.
Now batting number 8.
And I'd asked Kylie between games, I said, do you know any of the younger girls that are here? And she said a few of them. Most of the girls that she still is in contact with are the 14U team. But Kylie Hosey on the mound for the Spartans, undefeated, is a product of that Medina Youth program. Pop up, and it's within play, and a real nice play by Caitlin Lamb for the Spartans. Those ones that go straight up for the catcher are tough for a lot of reasons. One, the sun's up there. And two, when that ball comes down, if you've ever caught a pop-up that goes straight up in the air, when it's coming down, it doesn't come straight down. It comes down, and it's coming back towards you. And if you don't play that reversal of the ball coming down, it'll go right over your head. This is Natalie Swift at the plate. Swift, the number 9 hitter in this Emory lineup.
It's a point in this Emory lineup that they need to get somebody on base. So if Swift can get on here, they go back to the top of their lineup that was successful in that first inning. But with 2 outs here, you want to get somebody for those top hitters to be able to drive in. 1
ball, 1 strike to Swift. Hosey's next offering is lined foul. Natalie turned on one. You know, yesterday when Natalie was up, Swift, the last name, number 13, her number, because of my family, my 3 daughters, I am a Swiftie. I know Taylor Swift, and I know that 13 is her favorite number. So before the game, I went and asked Natalie, I said, is 13 because of Taylor Swift? And she smiled as she fouls off a strike 2 pitch, and she said, no. She said, I love Taylor Swift. I'm a Swiftie. She said, but I wear 13 because my dad was number 13 and my brother was number 13. And then I met her dad and her mom pregame, and they are just in from Colorado today. And Swift looks at the pitch outside. It's ball 2. And they just flew in today from Colorado, and they said that they were listening to the broadcast yesterday, and they said they couldn't help but chuckle when we talked about Natalie's number. Her mom and dad, George and Kim, and they're sitting in the almost front row here at Mather Park, and Natalie fouls off another. It's quite a coincidence that the number 13 is just because her dad and her brother with a last name like Swift. I said to her dad, George, I said, when you call around, you probably get great hotel rooms with that last name. He goes, actually, he says, we do get quite good cooperation. Fly ball to Potts at shortstop, and that's going to end the inning. We'll head to the bottom half of the second. Spartans up 2, 3-1. Bella Russo will lead off the bottom half of the second. Bella was standing in the batter's box at the bottom half of the first when her teammate Biz Berry got thrown out at third base. So Russo will stand in here in the bottom half of the second. Bella, the first baseman, looks at the first pitch, and it's a strike from Isabel Cohen. Cohen in game one threw a third of an inning. Faced one batter. And on Friday afternoon, she threw 2 1/3 innings and faced 9 batters. And that's a line drive base hit right by the first baseman for Bella Russo. Ella Hoyles made a lot of great plays, but that would have been really good.
Just about to say that. She picked one off of Karen Potts yesterday, and it looked very similar to that. This one was just a little bit too far for her. But the way she's played defensively, almost surprising to not see Hoyle come up with that.
Hoyle and Russo having a chuckle about it right now because those are 2 first basemen. I mean, they know each other's pain and suffering playing a hot spot, a corner. Those corner infielders. You know, if you're a first baseman against left-handers or a third baseman against right-handers, you have got to be on your game and attentive at all times. I actually talked to Coach Childs about that before the game, about corner infielders pinching. And in softball, you're less than 60 feet, in some cases 50 feet away from home plate if you're a corner infielder. So your reaction time is not a lot. And we talked about, if you're wearing a mask or not. A lot of high school corner infielders will wear a mask. You don't see it too much at the collegiate level. And Coach Childs was saying for Emory, she says, the reaction time's so good, and plus they're already in a fielding position. And she was a third baseman early in her collegiate career as well. But Hoyle, as you said, Sar, she's just made some real nice plays. This is Caitlin Lamb at the plate for the Spartans. Caitlin, the catcher. Counts 1 ball, 2 strikes. And Lamb takes that one to right field. Deep to right field. At the wall, it's off the wall. And Caitlin Lamb's going to have a real long single because it was such a floater off the bat that Bella Russo kind of had to stay tight towards first base.
Yeah, couldn't tell if that one was going to be caught, if it was going to fall, or if it was going to go over the wall. It was a high arcing ball, and just a few more feet on that would have been a 2-run shot.
That is Abby Wiley out there in right field, and that ball just kept floating. So Nyla Durham was the scheduled hitter. And she will be replaced in the hitting lineup right now by Jordan Manwarren.
Now batting for Case Western Reserve, number 4, Jordan Manwarren.
And Manwarren yesterday came in, pinch hit, had a double, drove in a run. And with no outs, they're threatening to do something similar here.
So Manwarren looks at a strike to open her at bat. It's a peculiar move, I think, by Coach Henry.
Yeah, typically we see Nyla Durham come in,
hit
bunt.
Once. Yeah.
And you would think with no outs, with 2 runners on, she'd be comfortable having a bunt situation, even if that's what she wanted to do with Durham.
So the count's even, 1 ball, 1 strike. And the pitch is off speed, and it's a good one. Ball gets in the dirt, and both runners will move up.
Yeah, good timing on that run from Bella Russo up from second to see that and just take off.
Yeah, there's your sack bunt without the sacrifice. So now, if Manwarren can just work the ball to the right side, if she can hit a ground ball towards second base, towards Chu, Spartans will get the run. If it's right back at the first baseman, Hoyle, Ella has already shown that she's got a strong arm coming to the plate. And it's a foul tip. You could tell by the way that Jordan just swung the bat, kept her hands in close to her body, that she was trying to push the ball to the right side of the infield. If you keep your hands inside the ball, you're going to push it opposite field. It's when those hands get extended that you pull the softball. She'll roll this one over to short, and the run's going to come home anyways. That was a tough two-hopper to a very sure-handed shortstop in Grace Cooper.
Yeah, and Grace Cooper had a great game defensively and might be charged with an error for that one. It looked like she may have had a chance off her glove to scoop that, and Russo, right off contact, was going even with that ball being played in the infield. That's the confidence that Coach Henry has in these base runners.
So standing at third is Lamb. Jagoda, the leadoff hitter in the Spartan lineup at the plate. And Jordan Manwarren's locked in at first base, and you've got to wonder how many pitches will it take to get Manwarren to second base. And she runs on the first pitch, throw down, the play is on, the reverse to home, and everybody's safe. So they ran a specific play where the throw gets cut off before it gets to second base, but it didn't help. Caitlin Lamb had a great jump, and she scores at home plate.
Yeah, Lamb timed that run well. Again, that's the reason that this team is so good running the bases. Coach Henry knows when to send her runners and when to hold them up. So by sending Manwarren at that moment, Caitlin Lamb has a great opportunity to go home.
So Jagoda's up with a runner now at second. And the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Kella, in her last at bat to lead off the game, had a solid single to right field and scored on it, or scored in the inning. One of the 3 runs that the Spartans scored in the first. They've got 2 in so far here in the second. Sorry, I think the hitting in the opening 2 games of this series for Case Western has been something to really take note of.
It's been great, and especially in this second game, and the differences that they're hitting at the times that they have runners ready to score. That's what we didn't get as much of in the first game. Coach Henry, I'm sure, talked to the team about it. Like I mentioned, Kella talked to me about it as well. If that's a catch, that's a great catch.
Yeah, Grace Cooper, a first-year player for Emory, has done an outstanding job this weekend. Obviously, first time we've seen her play, and she has been memorable for sure.
But with the Spartans still in this tough part of their lineup, they can continue to pour it on. A runner in scoring position. The hitting, as you mentioned, Ron, has been fantastic in these first 2 games. But this is what it means to have timely hitting. With just 1 out, can you get more runners on? Can you send more of those runners home?
Potts at the plate, walked in her first at bat, scored a run. Pitch under her hands, it's inside for a ball. 6 hits already for the Spartans in the first 2 innings. Actually, the first inning and a third. Potts chases a bad pitch, and Cooper is going to catch it for the out. So one shortstop hits it to the other, and it's the second out of the inning.
And Cooper's been busy here in the second inning.
Now batting number 17,
Kai Gross stepping to the plate. Kai had a single in her first at bat. She was 1 for 4 in game 1 with an RBI. Line drive, third base, played well. Strong throw, and Kai Gross is going to wrap up the inning. Sonia Klein, another first-year player for Emory, with a great play from third. We head to the top of the third. It's 5-1 Spartans. Ready to start the top of the third. If you look out onto this sun-splashed field right now at Mather Park, you look at it and you say, man, the field looks immaculate. And it does. But if you're a resident of northeastern Ohio and you know the kind of spring that we've had, rain and cold and just utter ugliness. Yesterday it actually snowed before the game. You know that it's taken a lot of work to get the field to look like it looks. And we want to give a shout out to two people in particular who lead the maintenance crew, the facility staff here that takes care of this field. Casey Conti and Joel Eckert. Between Casey and Joel, and you'll see them on the field in between games with the rake and the liner and the drag, but they've got a staff that works under them. And with the leadership of Joel and Casey, the field here at Mather Park is exceptional, remains exceptional, and it's just one of the nicest places to play in the University Athletic Association. So shout out to Casey and shout out to Joel as we start the third inning. Leadoff hitter at the plate for Emory, Paige Nellis. Nellis started out the game with a double. Scored the run that Emory has on the scoreboard. Hosey's pitch handled nicely in the dirt by Caitlin Lamb.
And Lamb has had a great day catching. Had a couple of those. All the wild ones seem to be under control.
Line drive, and the very tall shortstop, Karen Potts, makes it look easy.
Now batting, number 1, Ashley Chu.
Potts is listed at 5'11", the Spartan shortstop. Potts again to Russo, and that's quick work of Ashley Chu. That is not easy work on Ashley Chu either. She was lightning quick.
Yeah, and Potts has shown that she's got a really strong arm as well, and that was a great example of it there. Back-to-back plays for her in the infield.
Ellie Zaire is now at the plate. Zaire is from San Diego and looks at the changeup. And I ran into her mom in between games, and her mom flew from California, from San Diego to Atlanta to watch Emory play last weekend, and then from Atlanta to Cleveland to watch Ellie play this weekend. She's a kindergarten teacher, her mother, and she's on spring break. So she is using her spring break to follow her daughter in the week off that she has. And her daughter, I said to Mom, I said, you know, your daughter's leading the University Athletic Association in home runs. And she goes, I didn't know that. She said, thank you very much.
And certainly we knew that with the performance she's put on the last couple days.
I ought to be a kindergarten teacher. We all remember our kindergarten teachers, right? I can tell you Mrs. Wright was the name of my kindergarten teacher. W-R-I-G-H-T. Otto didn't go to kindergarten because in the one-room schoolhouse when Otto was growing up, fly ball to Potts, and it was a Potts kind of inning. Karen made all the outs. We head to the bottom of the third. We'll continue the Otto Pennica kindergarten story next.
the third inning.
Stevie Rieger will step in the right-handed batter's box to start this bottom of the third with her team. The Spartans up 5-1. Isabel Cohen on the mound. First offering to Rieger is on the outside corner for a strike. Otto is reminiscing about the days when he and Abraham Lincoln went to kindergarten together. Oh, it was George Washington. In the one-room schoolhouse. Otto looks good for his age. What's that stuff that freezes your body and keeps you, what's it called? They said they did that to Ted Williams.
Oh, yeah.
Cryogenics? Yeah, Otto is one of the early adapters or acceptors of cryogenics, and it really looks good on him. This is Rieger at the plate. A year ago, Stevie drove in 17 runs. She stole 10 bases, and she didn't commit an error in the field in 43 games for Coach Henry. And I can't see if that was caught or not. And it was not. That foul ball went right in front of the Spartan dugout, out of our line of sight. But since Rieger's coming back to the plate, that means that the Eagles didn't get to it. Counts 2-2. Nobody out. Stevie's the first batter here in the bottom half of the third.
The Spartans would love to keep pouring it on. Stevie Rieger drove in 3 runs last time she was up to bat. And already with 3-2 in the first 2 innings, I'd love to just keep it going.
Rieger, one of the 3 seniors in the everyday starting lineup for Coach Henry. Biochemistry major. Line drive, ground ball, right up the middle. It was hit hard. And it goes into center field. So Rieger's on.
Now batting, number 6, Biz Berry.
Stevie's having a real nice day.
Yeah, if you count this morning's game as well, it's now 3 for 4.
This is Biz Berry, the sophomore. It's been fun watching Biz, specifically defensively, I think. The play that she has... Rieger's off running, first pitch, and that's another stolen base. Stevie Rieger.
Yeah, it's pretty much a given at this point that when Stevie Rieger's on base, she's going first, and if not first, 100% it feels like of the time second pitch she'll go.
She's 15 of 16. That's pretty good. But Berry defensively has been real fun for me to watch the last 2 years. As a first-year player last year, she took over that spot at third base for Coach Henry, and she just plays it with such confidence. That's going to move the runner. And with nobody out, that's a real nice ground out. That'll go 4-3, but it moves Rieger into scoring position. So, you know, that's small ball personified. Rieger gets on with a base hit, steals second, and then on purpose, Biz Berry just turned her hands inside and pushed that ball to the right side of the infield to get Rieger to third.
Yeah, and it brings up one of the top hitters in this Spartan lineup. Once again, Elena Steffes has pushed her batting average up to .424, including this morning's game, and she has been on fire throughout this series as well.
Steffes looks at a pitch high for ball 1. Rieger standing at third, would love to come home. Elena would love to bring her home.
And Stevie Rieger's going to wait for, if one of these pitches gets passed or it's a wild pitch, anything like that, she's going. She's going to run home. We saw yesterday she dodged a tag at the last moment and came home safely on one of those pass balls.
Elena, a first-year player from Findlay, 3 times her sophomore, junior, and senior year in high school, she was a captain of the varsity softball team. Captain as a sophomore, and then all the way through her senior year. Fouled back. Counts even at 2. In high school, across the state of Ohio, they give out athletic leadership awards at the end of every school year. Each school gives out an athletic leadership award. It's called the Archie Griffin Award. Archie, of course, the only 2-time Heisman Trophy winner in the history of college football, the Ohio State superstar, and Ohio high school player himself once upon a time. So it's named after Archie. Well, Elena was the winner her senior year at Findlay High School. So her leadership qualities are questioned by no one. Counts full, 3-2. There's one out. Pitch, fly ball, shallow right field. Under it and bringing it in out there for Emory is Abby Wiley. And the play at the plate was close.
Yeah, beautiful throw, nearly getting that in on time. That's a tough throw to make from that right field spot.
So Steffes will get the RBI on the sac fly to right field.
Now batting, number 11, Bella Russo.
Bags are now clean with 2 outs, and Bella Russo's at the plate. This is game 3 of a 4-game weekend series, and for Emory, pitching-wise, we have seen Mackenzie Duford, who started yesterday, Isabel Cohn, who came in relief in game 1 and now is starting game 3, and Lexi Bach, who started game 2 and pitched great. For the Spartans in the first 3 games, we've seen Lexi Miskey, Dev Misra, Jenna Yaklik, Misra and Yaklik pitching light innings in relief of Miskey in both games, and now Kylie Hosey starting in this 3rd game. So as much as a softball pitcher is different than a baseball pitcher, as much as softball pitchers can pitch more innings, have more pitches per count in a game, you still need, a handful of them to go through a softball season.
Especially these 4 games in 3 days, certainly not easy.
And Cohen ends the inning with a nice off-speed strike 3 to Bella Russo. We head to the top of the 4th. Spartans get another run. They're up 6-1. Ella Hoyle will lead off the top of the 3rd for Emory. Kylie Hosey's first pitch is on the outside corner, and that's called strike 1. Hosey starts her off with a fastball with some movement, working away from the right-handed hitter. Hoyle, the cleanoff hitter in this Emory lineup. And that's the off-speed pitch for strike 2.
Yeah, Hosey's had a productive day. Early, it was a lot of swinging in these first or second pitches against her. They got a couple hits off of her in the first inning, obviously scored the 1 run then. But since then, she's been able to settle down and get more variety in her pitches. That's what Emory wanted to avoid. And now you get the danger of that changeup. You don't know when it's going to come. She can throw it at any point in the count.
Counts 1-2. Sorry, to your point, in that first inning, Nellis swung at the first pitch double. Chu swung at the first, line out to third. Zaire swung at the first pitch, ground out to third. And then Hoyle was, I think, in maybe the first 3 pitches, hit the single that scored the run. Athletics in general is a game of adjustments. And Hosey is obviously adjusted to what Emory did to her in the first inning. Three balls, 2 strikes. Hosey's pitch, and that's fought off for a base hit. Boy, that's just, plate protection there. 2 strikes swinging, protecting everything by Ella Hoyle. Great job by Hoyle, just getting the bat head down on a pitch that she probably didn't want to swing at, but with 2 strikes couldn't risk looking at, and knocks it into right field for a base hit.
Yeah, that's what this Eagles team needs. They need more of those plays, just not doing too much with it, because then you get a lot of these athletic plays by the outfielders. So just popping those ones right in the spot between second and right field. If you get a couple of those, they add up over time.
Strike 1 by Hosey. Grace Cooper, the shortstop, hit a ground ball too short in her last at bat, and her fellow shortstop Potts out there made a play to second base to end the inning. I was talking to Lexi Miskey before game 1 and asking her if Hosey had helped her with her changeup, because Lexi said, I wanted to be more like Kylie in the way that she's been effective. Potts to Gross. Gross will turn it to Russo, and safe at first base is Grace Cooper. That is the second opportunity at a double play, and the second time it's been bang bang at first base.
Yeah, it's been close. They haven't been able to turn 2 just yet. You have a feeling at some point the way that Karen Potts and Kylie Gross at short and second, how athletic they are and how strong both of their arms are, you're going to get one of those if they keep grounding in that direction.
So Miskey had said, I said, does Kylie, did she teach you how to hold it? Because obviously the way that a pitcher holds the softball on a changeup is key to how they throw the changeup. And Lexi said, no, she said, we hold it differently. She said, I squeeze it a little bit differently than Kylie does. But both of them have been very effective. That's a solid single to left. And with 1 out, Emory's got runners at first and second. That's Klein with the base hit.
Now batting, number 14.
Sonia with her first base hit of the day. She was 0 for 3 in game 1 and 0 for 1 so far in game 2.
Yeah, that was her first hit of the series.
Natalie Ware, Lillian Ware, the catcher for Emory at the plate. Lillian in game 1, 0 for 2. She had a walk and a strikeout, and she had a base hit in her first at bat in this game. She would love a base hit here. Her team needs it. They need her hit and a few others. Down 5, now on the top of the 4th. Single, or a line drive to Jagoda in center field. Kella made a nice play on it. And she'll throw it into second base. Tagging at second and advancing to third was Grace Cooper.
And the Spartans could have gotten that out or had a runner going back to first. They didn't have anyone covering. Steffes got back from her right field spot. She came all the way down to first base late. But that's another out that the Spartans could have gotten on that play had they moved a little bit quicker.
So that was a solid shot by Ware. But Jagoda, a sure gloved center fielder, made it look easy. So 2 outs, runners at first and third now for Abby Wiley, the right fielder. Wiley, deep center, Jagoda going back, off her glove. Ball at the wall. Kella brings it into second, 1 run's in. Scoring was Cooper, and at third is Klein. So Abby Wiley with a double to straightaway center. Went over the head of Jagoda, and Kella almost made a sensational play on it. I can't imagine how hard that must have been, looking straight into the sun.
And already
with the ball hit right at you.
Over her shoulder like that, too. And, yeah, you're right, Ron. Looking straight into the sun from that center field spot. The wind is blowing a little bit. You can see that flag above her, so that's kind of affecting the way the ball is coming down, whatever spin it had on it. Again, just running the opposite way where you're looking. It's hard to even see where the wall is. You don't really know where you are.
I got to tell you, if I'm Coach Childs, Emory's head coach, who's the third base coach, and I've got Sonia Klein standing next to me right now, I've got to ask Sonia, hey, what was going on with you? You were at first base and you're only at third on a ball to the wall in center field with 2 outs? I mean, it's a miracle that Klein did not score on that. With 2 outs, you're off the crack of the bat. And when the ball gets hit that deep, you need to score, especially in a tough game. It's 6-2. Showing bunt was Natalie Swift. Swift, the number 9 hitter. Emory with 6 hits. Just 2 runs, though. Swift can change that here in this at-bat. And she takes strike 2 outside. Kylie Hosey would love to add another strikeout to her total. And the 0-2 pitch is high and outside. Swift doing a nice job at just fouling that one off. Tough pitch to hit, but probably strike 3 if she looks at it.
Yeah, that's what we see from Hosey a lot of the time. The amount of movement that she gets on some of these pitches makes them hard to hit, but then also hard to lay off at the same time.
And speaking of hard to lay off,
that's an example of it right there.
The changeup stops the inning. It's 6-2 Spartans. Emory scores 1. We head to the bottom of the 4th. So Emory has made a pitching change as we head to the bottom half of the fourth inning. And now on the mound, a familiar number and a familiar right-hand rotating pitch. It's Lexi Bach, who was extremely effective in game one. A loss, but really did a nice job against this Spartan lineup. So Bach will replace Cohen. And Elizabeth Cohen will be done 3 innings in the books. She gave up 7 hits and 6 runs. And let's see, Cohen walked 1 and struck out 1.
Number 2, Caitlin Lamb.
Caitlin Lamb will lead off the inning. Lamb, the catcher, had a base hit to right and scored a run in the 2-run second inning for the Spartans. Case Western Reserve leads 6-2. In game 2 of a doubleheader day today, 1 game left tomorrow. Spartans trying to win their 22nd game of the year. They've played 24.
And they've won 22 straight in the conference as well. The last loss goes back to last season, the opening weekend of UAA play in Atlanta against this team.
They've won 22 straight
UAA
in league
games.
play. Wow. The 1-0 pitch to Lamb is low for ball 2.
With Bach coming in here this late in the game, too, I'll be interested to see how long they're going to let her pitch. She threw 124 in the earlier game, which not as much as 124 pitches would be in baseball, but still certainly a lot to continue pitching here in game 2.
Well, this tells me that Duford's going to pitch tomorrow.
Yeah,
Their Friday starter will pitch on Sunday.
And she's the ace for this team, so with only 1 game tomorrow, I can bet as well that it's almost a guarantee we'll see Duford again.
Two-one pitch to Caitlin Lamb. And it's low for ball 3. Caitlin in her career, she's a junior, 3rd year here at Case Western Reserve. She played in 23 games her freshman season, started 9 of them. And last year, in her sophomore year, she played in 25 and started 3. She has been a backup catcher, fly ball center field deep, back to the wall or the warning track, and bringing it in for the out is Paige Nellis. To finish the story on Caitlin, she's been a solid, reliable backup for Coach Henry behind the plate, and this year she's the starter, and she's been outstanding. So that's the first out of the inning. Jordan Manwaran. Speaking of backups, Jordan has taken over Caitlin's role on the team as the backup behind the plate. Jordan is at the plate now and ready to hit. First pitch swinging, and that's strike 1. Jordan in her first bat today in the second inning hit a ground ball to short that Cooper made an uncharacteristic error on. Jordan got on to first, eventually went to second, and was stranded there. Bach's second pitch. The difference velocity-wise between Cohen and Bach is very evident, I would think, for the batters at the plate.
Yeah, certainly 2 different types of pitchers, and it's one of the reasons Bach was so successful in that first game today.
And there's the changeup. Speaking of mixing up the speeds, second out of the inning.
Now batting, number 13, Kella Jagoda.
Kella at the plate, 1 for 2 in this game. Single in the first, scored a run. Out on a line drive, shot to the shortstop in the second inning. Jago to fly ball. Center field, left field, dropping between both. That was a sun ball. I'm not sure either Paige Nellis or Natalie Swift knew exactly where that softball was in the sky.
Yeah, and I don't think either of them thought that they were going to be the one to catch it because they didn't have a good view of it at all. So it was hit perfectly in between them.
Yeah, and Jagoda's going to get a double on it. There's not a line in a stat sheet for sun double, but if there was, that would fill it.
Yeah, certainly sun assisted.
This is Potts at the plate.
And the hesitation, Jagoda thought about moving to third. Maybe would have had a chance as well.
Eddie, you and I have not yet seen, maybe you have, but I have not seen Potts hit a home run yet. She's got 2 on the season.
She's got 2. She had 1 on Sunday, 1 on Friday in the second game last week as well. So both her home runs were here at Mather Park.
So you did that Sunday game, and I must not be, unless it was when I left for Good Friday service.
Walk off on Friday.
She must have hit it just after I left. Okay. Now I am getting older, and my memory is not what it used to be, but I'm glad that I remembered that right. My Emory, yeah, exactly. So it's a 3-0 count to Potts. Green light?
I give it to her. The way she's been hitting so far, not only in this series, but the entire season.
2 outs. Bach ready to throw. Here comes the offering.
A nice job to take that. Sees it go outside. Let it go 4 balls for a walk.
Now batting, number 17, Kylie Gross.
In case you're just tuning in, Kai Gross's mom and dad gave the group of us in the press box a dozen donuts before game 1. And we've done a real, there's one left. There's just one donut. Who wants the last donut? There's a wrestling match going on right now in the press box. So another thank you to Eric and Lily Gross. They're sitting about 3 rows in front of us, just off the press box. Nick, you said thank you?
I saw
yeah, Kai, yeah. I'm talking to Nick Petrucci, who's doing the scoreboard today. Nick is also a guard, an offensive guard on the football team, and the long snapper in field goals and points after touchdown. Do you do the long snapping for punts as well?
I did. I was the backup for both last year.
Okay.
Next year, I'm probably just going to be the short snapper.
Short snapper coming this fall. So that would be for field goals and points after touchdowns. And the way that Debelac offense runs, they score a lot of touchdowns. Oh. Kai Gross, and speaking of a lot, that is off the scoreboard. Kai Gross, like Robert Redford in The Natural, if there was a light up there on the board, she just busted it. With a big smile on her face. Said, let me eat.
Oh. We've seen her crush a lot of those. I don't know if I've seen her crush one like that.
Sorry, I think you should take the remaining donut that her mom and dad bought and take it down to Kai right now as a
she
celebratory.
Deserves it, that's for sure. And I don't think I've seen a ball hit the scoreboard.
Wow, I have
here.
not seen a ball hit the scoreboard.
Yeah, that hit that strike, you know, the lettering up there. That was high on the scoreboard too.
That is a 3-run home run. It's 9-2 Spartans in the bottom of the 4th. Man, that ball was hit hard. That made a large, loud sound when it hit the scoreboard.
I saw Lexi Miskey sprint out of the dugout to cheer her teammate on. She was excited, and the whole dugout was out, really.
Rieger at the plate. Emory trying to get out of the inning. Rieger, fly ball, shallow right. Coming in, making a nice play is Abby Wiley. And the inning is over. But not before a 2-out, 3-run home run off the scoreboard by the senior second baseman Kai Gross. We head to the top of the 5th. Spartans up 9-2. So Kylie Hosey's day is done in the circle for the Spartans. Dev Misra is now in to pitch for Case Western. So let's look at Hosey's day. Kylie pitched 4 innings. She gave up 2 runs on 6 hits. And she had 2 strikeouts and didn't walk a batter. And Hosey's in position to win her 9th game of the year against no losses. This is Misra, who pitched yesterday in relief of Lexi Miskey in the 9-2 Spartan win. Dev Misra, earned run average on the year in 4 appearances, 1.40. Counts even at 1.
Ron, you mentioned it. We've seen a couple pitchers now in this Spartan lineup. We saw Jenny Yaklich in the earlier game, and now Dev Misra once again. You know, if this team can continue to go in with 4 solid pitchers that are in this regular rotation, it'll only make them better as they get deeper and deeper in the season.
Nice play at first base by Bella Russo on a hard-hit ground ball by the leadoff hitter, Paige Nellis. You're exactly right. You know, it's great coaching, too, when you get opportunities like this to develop those other pitchers. Take advantage of it and do it.
Especially you get these, we talked about the 4 games in a weekend. It's not easy, and certainly can keep pitchers fresh and keep the other teams guessing. When you have different pitchers always coming up against these batters, they can't get in a rhythm against the types of pitches and the spots that you like to find, because every pitcher is going to be slightly different at the very least.
Ashley Chu at the plate. Chu 0 for 2 in game 2. And she's in a bit of a slump. Chu was 0 for 3 last night. And in game 1 today, she was 0 for 4. So she's 0 for her last 9. And this is the leadoff hitter for Emory on a regular basis, who's hitting above 500 coming into this game.
And she was 557 coming into the weekend, and his batting average today has dropped down to exactly 500.
Boy, I just wish she could get a hit every now and then. I'm making a joke. We're talking about a slump on a hitter who's hitting 500. You know, I was just making a joke. I mean, Chu is she's having an All-American season so far.
Certainly is. It's just been an uncharacteristic weekend. She's faced a lot of tough pitchers, and certainly has been just tough for, this entire team.
She's going to roll that one over, and that's going to be a base hit. Nobody's going to catch her. And every now and then, when you're in a slump, you'll take it any way you can get it.
Yeah, I don't know that you can hit a better ball in the infield like that, especially with the speed that she just put on display. There's nobody who can make that play to get that ball over to first. If Bella Russo comes off first, there's no one to cover it. Dev Misra can't get there from second. Kylie Gross can't get there. It's just a tough ball to play.
I call that the Bermuda Triangle of softball. When a ball is hit in that exact same spot, because of the reasons you just said, Sar, that is an area that is a solid money base hit because the ball disappears. There's no one that can make a play on it when it's there.
And when you got a fast base runner on top of that, it just makes it even easier to get on.
One out, one on, one ball on the number 3 hitter, Ellie Zaire.
Don't be surprised to see Ashley Chu go for a steal. She's got 21 on the year.
And there she, Potts, nice play over to Congress, and they got the double play. Wow, talk about staying with the play, and that'll end the inning. How about that?
Waited for it a couple times. Third time's the charm for this Spartan team. They finally got it.
Boy, that was a hard hit ground ball by Zaire, and that's what you need if you're going to turn a double play in the infield. A hard hit ground ball, and that's what they got. Potts made a nice shovel pass off her glove to Gross, and Russo completed the 6-4-3 double play. We head to the top of the 6th, or bottom of the 5th rather. It's 9-2. Bisberry will lead off this bottom half of the 5th for the Spartans. They are up by 7. And if you're up 8 after 5, the game is complete. So the Spartans trying to manufacture 1 run in this inning and end the doubleheader a little bit early. Barry 1 for 2 in game 2. In game 1, she was 2 of 3, so Biz having a real nice afternoon. Barry, right field line. Will it stay fair? It will. Down the line in the corner. Barry rounding first, going to second, and she's going to stand up and hold with a leadoff double to start the 5th.
Yeah, you can't place a ball any more perfectly than that, right along that right field line when it's that gray area. Is it going to be fair or is it going to be foul? And she did a great job pushing it all the way over there, just not turning over the bat too much. That's what's going to play it inside in towards the right fielder. And that, with no outs already to have a runner in scoring position, the Spartans are in a prime spot to try and end this game.
First pitch is high to Elena Steffes. So on Friday night, Spartans scored 8 runs on 9 hits. In game 1 today, they scored 5 runs on 14 hits. So that's 22 hits in 2 games. And then they've got 10 so far, so that's 32 hits in the 3 games of this series. Steffes is 1 hit away from ending this game as she takes ball 2. And Elena has had the kind of day where it won't be a surprise if she ends it right now. She has been very good at the plate today. Her teammate Barry's on second, ready to go. Pitch is low, and it's behind the catcher, and the Spartans are 60 feet away from ending this game.
Yeah, no question about that, as Barry, as soon as she saw that, she was gone to third base. Just another extra play you can't afford to give this Spartan team, and we've seen a couple of those over the course of the series, and the Spartan team has capitalized on every single one.
So Bach checks the wristband. Pitch is ready. Here it comes to Ware, and it's inside. It's ball 4 to Steffes. So I'm guessing Steffes is off and running on the first pitch, because if you're Emory, you're not even throwing. It's catcher's indifference, because the run that's important is the one that's on third.
That's right. That would
if
end the game.
Bisberry comes in, the game's over.
Yeah, and you have to give up the run, because as soon as you throw, if you're the catcher, then that run is coming in, and there's nothing you can do about it at that point.
Coach Childs is out in the circle right now talking to her entire infield about how they're going to play this at bat and as this inning goes along, because they've got to keep that runner at third in order for this game to continue. So at the plate for the Spartans will be Bella Russo. Russo 1 for 2 in this game. She had a single, an infield single in the first inning, the first base, and then she struck out swinging to end the third. She'd like to end the game right here. Spartans with 3 runs in the first, 2 in the second, 1 in the third, 3 in the fourth. They need just 1 here in the fifth to make it a doubleheader sweep and to win the first of 3 games in this 4-game series. Bach checks the pitch in the dugout. She's ready to throw it, and here it comes.
There's that steal at second base. The catcher's indifference. She threatened to throw, but almost knew that was never coming out of her hand.
Russo, the junior first baseman at the plate. Bach with the 0-1 offering. And it's by the catcher, and that's going to end the game. Coming in, sliding, and scoring is Bisberry, and this one's over. Coach Henry looking at the home plate umpire, confirming that the ball game's over. He nods to Josie. Josie nods back, and that's it. The final in Game 2, it's a 5-inning final. Spartans on 10 hits score 10 runs, and they knock off Emory for the 3rd straight game here at Mather Park. It's a 10-2 win. 3 wins in 3 games. 1 game is left Sunday at 11. Sarzucci and I will be back for that one. Sar, final thoughts?
A great day, as you mentioned, Ron, earlier, hitting for the Spartans. The first game, it was a lot of hits, not a lot of runs for them. They did a much better job of it in the second game. Mackenzie Duford will be back in the circle for Emory tomorrow, the ace for this Emory Eagles team, and they want to get back in the win column. They don't want to get swept here in UAA play, but it's a Spartan team that has expectations of winning the conference, and they have looked like the best team so far.
Emory falls to 16-10 overall in the season. Case Western improves to 22-2. Ranked 6th in the country. Your final 10-2. 2 wins today for the Spartans. We'll have hopefully 1 more tomorrow on Sunday. We'll bring you the broadcast starting at 11. For Fast Eddie Karakis, our sports information director, for my partner Sarzucci, I'm Ron Yance. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a great Saturday, everybody.